Hello, I'm Karen, and in today's video I would like to share the oldest crochet hook discovered in the world so far. This is the image. You can see, I'm sorry, I'm showing you my tablet, so it's actually getting flickers going across it. But this is my download. This is my proof that I actually paid for this. Okay, the copyright belongs to the trustees of the British Museum. They have given me permission to be able to share this. Okay, and so if we go to the British Museum, we can see here, if I just come back down here. So it was described as a crochet needle, question mark. The object type, crochet needle, crochet needle, question mark. Its museum number and its description. Part of a wooden crochet needle with hook at one end. Sorry, it's really hard for me to try and do this one. I'm trying not to get reflections. It was excavated by Guy Brunton, who was working with the British Museum, and he found it in Mostegada in Egypt, which is the upper part of Egypt. It's made of wood. Its dimensions are 0.9 centimetres, so that's actually 9 millimetres, and its height is 6.8 centimetres. Its location is not on display. Condition fair, it's incomplete. And its acquisition date was in 1929, and the department is Egypt and Sudan, and that's just its reference numbers again there. Okay, so what I did is I contacted the museum so that we can actually have, and paid for, so we can actually have images. So there is the image that they've actually got on their website now, which is the same image that they sent to me, and if I click on there, we can actually see as well, sorry about the reflections that are going off, but you can actually see, if we zoom in on that a bit better, we can actually see the whole hook, or the whole half of the hook that's there. Okay, you can see the snapped end of it. Unfortunately, back then, you see this writing on it, that's the dates that when they actually found it, and over here as well, if we could zoom in a little bit closer, we can see its reference number. If you actually zoom right in and you actually do this yourself, you can actually see the little bits of sand still actually stuck inside it. So it's absolutely fantastic. And what I'm going to do as well, I'm just going to go onto my maps. I'm just going to type in, hang on a minute, I can't see properly because I'm trying to do this through the screen. So if we go to Sohag, there, and so there we can see Sohag. If I just get that, oops, hang on a minute, it's really hard to press on that while I'm doing that there, go away, there we go. So if we actually look here, so this is Sohag, this is the nearest place that I can find to where Mostegada was, okay. And if I actually come down, zooming out just a bit so we can see, if we go here, we can see Luxor, which is where the Valley of the Kings are. So we're sort of that far away from the Valley of the Kings. And obviously if we go further up, that's where we'll find things like the ancient pyramids and things like that. Okay, so I just thought I'd share where it was actually found. Okay, I know it wasn't exactly just there, but if you actually zoom, if you do zoom right in, is it going to show me? Well, we've got the railway station. There is actually the museum there as well. Okay, of where they actually, so let's just go back to the crochet hook. Okay, and images there. Okay, so I just wanted you to see, I can't show you very well on my tablet, to be fair, the actual images, but I just wanted you to see that this is the actual crochet hook. And if you want to actually make a donation to the British Museum, you want to pay to have, because this is their online collection, so what you can do is you can actually pay for different things to be, different images, okay. So because of looking at that, what I've done, I know these are not very good images, but I've printed them off so you can actually see, the actual crochet hook itself. This was the bigger version of it. And like I said, I know that they're not the best, but if you actually go and have a look on the actual website, and you zoom in properly, you can see that when you actually look, let's put this down there. When you actually look at the way that the hook is actually made, you can see that this here is, if you look at that, this angle that you've got there seems to be a strange angle, but that's because this bit is narrowed in. If you actually look at the one where you've actually got the image where it's the whole of the half of the hook, and that's where you can see that this was all tapered down. Okay, so that you can, so this bit here was actually as wide as the actual hook was. So if you come down further, you'll see that the actual wood was that width, and they've cut this piece into it. So what I did is because obviously, you know, I've been curious about all of these things and saying this was made, it has to be before the first Egyptians, before the first dynasty. So 3100 BC is actually 5120 years ago. Okay, so we now have physical evidence to say that our ancient ancestors were crocheting, could crochet, because they actually had the tools. Now, I also had a look online as well. If you actually go and have a look, you can actually see what sort of tools they had, because they had different sorts of flint tools. And I know I've shared with you before that I've found tools like this. I've actually now have almost an identical pair of those ones. Sorry, my focus is not so good. And like this sort of little thing here. But what I haven't shared with you is this. This is my pot of stones and things that I've used. All of this here, which I would say that if I was back in those days, this would be used for my kindling. This is the actual wood. This is the stick. This is the end of the stick where I snapped it off, the branch off the tree. It was my own tree, my own garden. Don't worry, my tree's fine about it. You know, we had a chat about that. And what I did is when it was actually fresh, if I just move this over, I used this cutting tool here to be able to, let me show you the other end, cut into my wood. I didn't realise, obviously, that looking at this one, you can see what they did is they actually cut from a lot further back on and tapered down a lot more. But I was obviously looking at the modern crochet hooks. But I just thought I'd try and share with you so you can see the end. So I cut with this tool, and then, getting my little tub, I had, this is one of my sanding stones. You can still see a little bit of the dust on it as well where I was sanding with it. Oh, actually, so you need to see this tool as well. So this one here, before I actually started to do the cutting, I've got a branch here to show you. This is it's the same tree. So I just snap some bits off. So what happens is you've got, if you look at the tree, we've got this outer bark that's on it, and when it's fresh, while the tree is actually fresh, I know this is where I get dirty fingernails from, but you can actually get all of this to come off, but it comes off in bits. But this tool is the scraping tool, and you can actually, if I just do just a little bit, just to show you, just to demonstrate, so you can see how I got these fibres. You can actually take off all of that to get down to the main body of the wood. Can we see that? I'm sorry, I'm saying I'm trying to, there we go, that's a nice focus on it. So that's all done with this tool. I cut with that tool. I did some sanding with this one. Then this is my thinner one that I was using to, to be able to get into the actual groove that's on there. So I started to use that to be able to get down into there. If I put it in that way around, it fits better. There. And where's my other one? Also, I've got this one, which was slightly thinner. I don't know if you can see because of the light, but if I put that into there, that also helped me to be able to get in at different angles before I actually got to the point where I am now. Because then what I did as well is I did some final cutting with this here, because I wanted to get into there, into that groove right down there. So if we're going this way around, I could actually fit in there to be able to do that cutting, to be able to get that shape. Okay, so I know that I'm not demonstrating to you properly how to actually do it, because it took me a blooming long time, I can tell you that. But I just wanted to share with you how it is actually all possible that they actually could do it. And this is a measurer. This is a 9mm hook, just to be able to show to you. So if we go into the hole there, so we know that that's 9mm, so that 0.9 centimeters measurements of this ancient crochet hook would have been the same diameter as this, only it was fatter at this end because it tapered down. Right where we've got our indent there, and then we've come up and then go in again, there just went straight all the way down, but it was doing it from the back as well. And if, see where this letter, that M is there, forget my tape measure, where is it? We can show you that from the end to that M there, because it said it was 6.8 millimeters, which takes us approximately to these M's here. So this is the actual piece. This is the actual. They'll only have this half in the museum. Well, it's actually in storage because it's not in. It's not on display because it's so old and delicate, I would imagine. And I just want to show you as well my very first crochet hook that I made, because I really thought that this ancient hook would look something like what I made, because I thought they'd use maybe the similar techniques, but they didn't. But they do have one common thing, because we see this little indent there. Mine's on the opposite side, but we've got this where it looks like a little eye inside it. Mine actually was a twig that was growing up that way round, and I just took the bottom off, and you can see the angle that this is coming out at as well. And I just sanded it just to make it be, because it just reminded me of a little bird, and I kind of thought that the Egyptians would do something like that, but maybe they did, maybe they didn't, I don't know. But there you go. So there it is. That's my printed off version. I didn't obviously have enough black in my printer to be able to do all of this, but this is the oldest crochet hook in the world discovered so far, and it was discovered by Guy Brunton in 1929, and say it's dated to be pre-dynastic, so that means it's got to be older than 3100 BC. So I'm really chuffed, really am excited about that. And because obviously I've been demonstrating how we can use these tools, all of these tools I actually discovered myself in my own location that I've been researching. And while I was doing my research, I also discovered this, and I was like, what is that? Yeah, I kept trying to think, what would they do with that? And then I realised what they would do, and as a little demonstration, I've got some white yarn, probably not such a good colour, but where are we? Here it is. If you actually get your yarn and you put it into, which is the best groove, that groove there, and you keep, if I hold it that way around it's probably easier. I can't see very well, it's really dark in here because it's really sunny outside and it was reflecting off everything, so I've actually tried to come into a darker room to be able to show you all of this, and it's really fiddly to show you actually on the camera, but if you can see already, you can start to see that the fibres are actually starting to come on that. Okay, so I'm just going to put it back and try and do it that way around, because it might be easier. And it's because it takes some time. Yeah, I mean, they had ages anyway, didn't they, in those days? But I don't know how many seconds that took, but there you go. It actually cuts the yarn. I have got some hemp yarn, which I have tried it on, but it takes me so much longer to cut through that. So I just thought I'd just do the demonstration. But that essentially is an ancient version of one of these new little cutters that they've brought out, a thread cutter. Yeah, and there we go, an ancient thread cutter. So I just thought I'd share, because I mean, clearly I have got proper tools, you know, that they would use maybe for fishing with and things like that, and for you know, all the little things that they wanted to capture. This is one of my other ones. This is really cool stone that they cut. Can you see that one? Try and get the light on that. It's a fabulous bit of stone, that one. But realistically, but the whole point of this was to show that they definitely made crochet hooks way back then, and we have tools to demonstrate how it was even possible. We know that they was making hemp yarn, so the evidence shows that they could crochet all that time ago, which means that I was right, basically. And Mama Zarigo definitely did not invent crochet. She might have done some form of translation from some ancient thing that was found from, because in the 1800s, when she was doing all of her crocheting, was when they'd actually discovered the Rosetta Stone, and they'd actually started to translate that. So there you go. I don't really know what else to say except thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing. Bye for now.